What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Ia, coming live with live with Journey with Trish the podcast on this beautiful hot Sunday. I'm not feeling my greatest, so I'm just gonna chill today. I ain't feel like putting on no clothes, but I'm excited to talk about this today. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to get in the room while you are. Let me go ahead and give you my medical disclaimer, of course. Neither myself, Patricia Reed, aka Miss Ija de Jimenez, Journey with Trish the podcast, Patricia Reed. It's here to give you any type of medical or psychiatric advice. If you're having any type of those emergencies, I would defer you to your nearest emergency room or contact your primary care provider tonight. I will go ahead and throw my trigger warning on the screen just because we are going to be talking about Tyler Perry movies today. And a lot of them do touch on topics like mental health, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and verbal abuse. So I want to go ahead and give that trigger warning just in case anybody is not able to join us tonight. Again, I'm excited. So I got a whole list of Tyler Perry movies that we're going to talk about tonight. But we're going to start with talking about, of course, his latest movie. Again, my neck has been killing me, so that's why I'm just kind of chilling right now, trying to give my neck some relief. So let's talk about Straw. All right. If anybody, it's always a lot funner when I have some company. So I do have a link if anybody would like to join me tonight. So I'm all good for some respectful company. Again, tonight I'm just going to be sharing you what my opinion and my review is. I don't expect for everybody to share my reviews and my opinions. But that's what makes us different, right? That's what makes us all special, is that we all have our own opinion and then hopefully we respect it. So Straw. All right. First, let me say I have always been a lover of Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry movies. It wasn't actually until Sisters, like a few seasons in the Sisters, when I started looking at Tyler Perry a little bit differently, because you got Danny. I think it's 5 of them. So it's 5 sisters now. And so it's just like, I don't understand why women in his movies just can't seem to catch, or shows just can't seem to catch a break, right? And that seems to be the theme of most of his movies and most of his shows. They can't seem to catch a break. And I am all for him shining light on the struggles that Black women do face. I actually shine a light on my own struggles. But what I don't like is he doesn't really give any hope. Like, he just shows you all of this trauma and all of these struggles, and then boom, the movie's over, right? And what he typically shows to be a happy ending, in my opinion, is always a man coming in to swoop in and save the day. So I've seen some people say he hates. Well, I don't really think he hates Black women. I think his views right now just might be a little twisted, and I don't really understand why. Because while, yes, he did grow up, from what I understand, with a mom who struggled a lot, and I respect that. But then you became an adult and you had your own struggles, Mr. Perry, yourself for a while. You talked about being homeless for a while and sleeping in cars for a while. But even you, in fact, are not in the struggle anymore. And throw in the fact that you just happen to be best friends with like billionaires, you like best friends with some of the richest women even in the world. You best friends with Oprah Winfrey, who grew up, I believe, in Mississippi. Definitely has made a name for herself. So it just seems to me like in most movies, and I'm gonna go through the list. And there's probably going to be some of these movies that I go through that you're going to be like, oh, wow, I ain't never really think about it like that. And then if I'm being honest, the man loves some soul food. I can't tell you how many movies I've watched and picked up on different soul food references or different references, like, for instance, Straw. Let's get into Straw. So Straw, to me, took references, of course, we all know, from John Q. It was a lot like the movie John Q. But there's also a movie that was made, I believe, back in like 2014, 15, which was Leela and Eve. Leela and Eve was about a movie. Now, if you listen, there's going to be some spoilers in this talk today. So if you haven't watched the movie and you don't want no spoilers, then you probably want to go ahead and log off, come back and watch the podcast later and see what, and then you can kind of, add in what you like to add in. But Leela and Eve was also about a mom who had lost a son. If you have not watched Leela and Eve, it was a great movie. Viola Davis and J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez were in that movie. Viola Davis had lost a son. Her son had been murdered. And after that, she began to, like, she had a hard time. She struggled with grief, struggled with processing grief. And so she began to have hallucinations. She was very delusional. And I don't want to give away that movie, but it was very similar, And so as a mental health provider, I do know that you can process grief. There was another movie that I watched yesterday. Somebody told me to watch on Netflix called Fractured. It was also a very good movie. I can't think of, it wasn't a Black movie, but it was still a very, very good movie. Also a very, very good job. I can't say I was crazy about the ending on Fractured either. I don't like movies that they give you this whole movie and then at the end is pop, 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 pop. And in 5 minutes, they want to reveal to you that they've been playing with your mind the entire time. However, being a nurse practitioner, a psych nurse practitioner, that's one of the things that I have to deal with. It's hard sometimes when somebody is delusional to tell when they are in fact delusional and when they are telling the truth, because their delusions to them are very real, and typically, or a lot of times, they are saying things that are very believable. Like they'll make up these whole stories that could actually be true, and then like 2-3 weeks down the road, you realize, wait a minute. And it's not that they're pulling your leg. They really believe these things to be true. We call those fixed delusions. So that makes that difficult too. However, and maybe I think sometimes when you're a nurse, when you watch things like ER or Grey's Anatomy, it's hard to watch those movies because you're picking out things that they're doing in the hospital setting that you would never really do in a hospital setting. So that makes it kind of hard too. I said that. I'll talk about the characters. Listen, y'all, don't get mad with me. I'm giving my opinion. All right. When it comes to the actors, actresses that were in the movie, all phenomenal actresses. Sherry Shepherd, I think they all did a good job. However, honestly, for me, I think I would have liked to see Tiana Taylor and Taraji P. Henson. I would have liked to see them switch roles. That's just me. I'll tell you why. Taraji Henson is a phenomenal actor. All right. She is a beautiful Black woman. I just happen to know that we're around the same age, right? I know that she is 54 years old, right? And so for me, I can't wrap around in my, like, it was hard for me to take out of my mind that while she looks younger than what she is, I know she's 54 years old and she has this young child in the movie, where Tiana is younger and has young children. It's just my personal opinion. I think the roles would have been better swapped. That's just me. You're not going to make me sit here and say that I felt like Taraji's role was just so believable, because for me, it just wasn't all that believable. Again, I work with people who are in that state and live in that state. So for me personally, it just wasn't that believable. Now, what I will say about Tyler Perry is all of his movies absolutely have a message. I won't take that from him. They all have a great message. They all have things that, yes, people really do experience, that Black women really do experience. My only problem is the movies just lack hope. Like, you give us this movie called Straw, and you give us this young lady who Her daughter is sick. She's already struggling to pay her bills, right? She is struggling being a single parent. She's struggling with the boss who is a butthole. Like, she's struggling with all these things, with the landlord who doesn't care. She runs into the police officer the exact same day who threatens, the next time I see you, I promise you, I'm going to figure out a way to legally kill you over some, like, a road rage type incident. It was just too much for me. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it never happened to anybody. And I know that people actually experience this. I'm saying that the whole conglomerate of things happening in a one day was just overstimulating for me. Now, she ends up inside the bank, inside work. The store ends up getting robbed. All she wants is her check, right? And I know that there actually are bosses who are like that man was. I know that there are, right? See, and again, like, I don't know what year this movie was supposed to be in. Like, was this a 2025 movie, a 1990s, that 1980 movie? It didn't really say like what year this movie took place, because I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I know there are bosses that are buttholes. I've been in stores. I lived in the Bronx, and I still go back to New York. I never like. Where I don't even remember where they were, what city they were in. But if y'all let me know. Like, when she was in the store, she was a cashier. The girl got mad because she wouldn't let her pay for all of her things that she wanted to buy on her WIC. I've seen people get upset like that, because you have some people that'll let you slide, which is why you shouldn't. But you have some people that'll let you slide, and then you have the person that's very worried about their job who is not going to let you slide and get all these extra things. And I've seen people walk out and not want to get it. I've seen people curse out. They're throwing the glass on the floor, like, and she just, was it me? Or did she just not seem, and maybe she was like that though, because she was already, like, she already knew that her child had, to get some spoilers, maybe, but she already knew that her child had passed away, and that's why. But she just did not look very, like, she looks kind of delayed to me, is the word that I'm going to use, in the way that she was, even like in the grief. To me, something just seems a little off. I just wasn't convinced. It wasn't convincing for me. I respect the trauma that came out of the movie. I respect that other people have went through these types of trauma. I want to say that over and over again. What I don't understand though is when I see people on here, oh, Tyler Perry, you did your thing. Oh, you need you need to go, get an Oscar for this one. And I don't see that. I don't get that. And typically, too, when actresses and actors get awards for these roles, it's when they play roles that they're not typically are not the type of role that they would play. He has Taraji playing these types of roles all the time. She's always struggling in his movies, right? There's always something going on with her in these movies. And that's kind of why I say I would have liked to see those roles changed. I feel like Teyana, she did a great job. Listen, I love me some Teyana Taylor. She did a great job as the officer. Personally, I just think she would have done even more of a bang-up job even as the actual Janiyah. That's just me. And the ages would have lined up a little bit more. That too. And then also, like, I get that you are, like, you want to use actresses that have some, like, a strong following, right? That people are going to come watch. And then you bring in people too who haven't worked in a while. Okay, I got that. But there are also, so if we are looking to help build up women, right? there are several actresses out there who are still up and coming. So why did your movie have to be so heavily star-studded? Because to me, Tiana Taylor and Sherri Shepherd, who also already has a talk show, and Tiana, Sherri, and Taraji, right? I feel like somewhere in there you could have brought somebody who's still trying to build a resume in the movie, right? Let them make some money too. Let them build their career too. Why? Because this is what I'm saying. Where is the hope in that movie? The movie ended after all that struggling and all that pain and all that trauma that this woman went through. She didn't die, but she's still about to go to jail. And if you think she's not about to stay in jail in real life, you are sadly mistaken. It might be NGRI, which is what we call not guilty by reason of insanity, but she's going to go to somebody's jail. She's not just going to get out and walk away from there, right? So where was the hope in that movie? I didn't leave. I did not click off of that movie wondering what's going to happen next. Oh, I can't wait for part 2. I did not leave that movie feeling like I left that movie just like, what just happened? At some point, I had to rewatch certain parts because I was just confused, right? Don't want to go watch the whole movie over again. Don't feel like I missed a whole lot. It was just a lot. And I don't understand why, with this movie being so stricken with nothing but trauma, we love it so much. It was meant to make you cry. That's what it was meant for. It was meant to have you sitting in your house crying about the things that Black women have gone through. That's what it was. To me, it was total emotional exploitation. But it made a lot of people happy to be able to cry, Nothing wrong with it. Good. I get on here and I cry when I'm praising the Lord and people think it's something wrong with me. I cry when I'm happy and people think it's something wrong with me. But you just want to cry. Yeah, I cried so bad because she had been through so much. But we got plenty of people that are walking around here in our own cities who are in fact going through a lot of things. Maybe not all of those things at one time, but we got our own women right here in real life that are going through some things. And we see them on social media saying things, crying out for help, doing this and doing that. And we just brush it off. But we watch these movies and then it all makes sense. And then you have everybody saying things like, well, if you've never been through it, you wouldn't understand unless you've been, face those kind of things. Yeah, but we can have compassion. We can still have compassion for you, even though we haven't been through it. So I'm all for having compassion, but my compassion is always going to come with some hope. And I am just telling you, that movie did not give any hope. There was no silver lining or no positive. And then you throw in an actress, like I said, who was 54 years old, playing somebody who has this young, and everybody kept saying the name Janiyah, just kind of threw them off because it was such, a young name. But I tell my kids all the time, young people, we give kids these names, they're going to get old. I have a daughter named Shemaya. She's going to be an 80-year-old Shemaya one day. So like that, you really don't have no control over it unless we just think about it when we start naming these babies when they're born. You can't do nothing about the name. But everybody felt like the name kind of just didn't fit. Hope is what he's missing in that movie. Just a little glimmer of hope. Because you got this woman, like I said, who is, we know, 54 years old, but it never tells us how old. If they said it in the movie, I don't remember. But I was in my mind thinking she was probably supposed to be in her mid to late 30s in the movie. That's what I created in my mind, right? If she was supposed to be the age she is now in the movie, Like we keep showing he has these women that he allows. If I'm being honest, when Angela Bassett had the role in Meet the Browns, I did not like her for that role in that movie. I felt like she was too old to be playing, and I ain't trying to be mean. Not that she was too old. I'm saying if it's a younger person's role, give it to the younger person. Because I am 50, and even though, yeah, I might not look like I'm 50, I'm still 50. I'm 50 all day long, right? So I want to play a role if I'm going to be in a movie that's somewhere between 45 and 55. I don't want to play no 60-year-old, you know, but I definitely don't want to be out here at 50 playing a 30-year-old. But that's just me. That's just me. To me, that would have made it more believable. For me, I just feel like he should have switched those roles and it still would have been a bank. They were both leading roles to me. Because Tiana did her thing. I just feel like she would have did better there. There's really nothing else I can say about Straw. I didn't think that it was the greatest movie. I thought Sherry Shepherd is the one who I would say did the best. Why? Because she's a comedian. She doesn't play roles like that, right? That's what you win Oscars for. You win Oscars typically for playing roles that are not your typical roles. That's why I would have loved to see those other two roles swapped up. Let us see Taraji in some happy roles, some good roles. You know, we tired of seeing her struggling. We tired of seeing black women in your movies. They already give us a bad rep anyway. But and you have like other communities that come and watch these movies, and we're portraying this role like we just still have it. That some of us may, but there are more of us that have gotten our ish together than not now. There are some people who are still struggling, but you got more women, black women in every profession than there ever have been before, right? But even when you put them in movies, he still makes them struggle. They still got to be going through something. So let's go through my little list, right? You got Temptation is the number one on my list. Temptation was the movie. I'm so hard with remembering names, but Temptation was a movie about the marriage counselor. It started off as a play, and then he made it a movie. And in that movie, she was a counselor who was married to somebody, and they had been married since married since they were out of high school, and either out of college or out of high school. Remember, they had been dating since they were kids, right? He was a safe husband, right? He was a pharmacist. He was a pharmacist husband. They were living in New York, right? I believe he was working for somebody else, but he pretty much ran the pharmacy. And she was a counselor. She was working for somebody, and she was doing very well in this counselor business. In walks, a rich man, right? A rich man who is a developer, who has like a Facebook kind of app thing, right? And he wants her to work with him on developing a dating questionnaire to integrate into his app. Boom. She falls in love with him, right? She falls in love with him. Now, she's doing fine. She's happy with her husband until this man walks in, right? Now he walks in the movie. She falls in love with him. He gets her hooked on drugs. Then he starts physically abusing her, sexually abusing her. And then her husband has to come save her from him once he finds out that she's with him. Brandy was in this movie too. I can't think of anybody's name, and I didn't write him down. He goes to save her, right? At which point, because he finds out that he is actually the man that she's messing around with is HIV positive. Bam. Here comes the end of the movie, right? Here comes the end of the movie, and he's in the store with his new wife and his new child, and here she walks in looking homey and stuff, HIV positive, to pick up her meds from her ex-husband. You see where I'm going with this? She was happy in the beginning, but you had to make her look like she wasn't happy because she just wanted more. She wasn't happy. She didn't accept what she already had. That was good. And she went out and she did something else. And because of that, she ended up losing everything she had, and she got HIV. So he made her look stupid. He made her look dumb. He made her look used and abused and then thrown away at the end of the movie. That's one movie. That's one movie. That's what he did in that movie. Acrimony. Taraji P. Henson again. You give her a diagnosis halfway through it during the movie called borderline. I don't think he said bipolar. I think he said she had borderline personality disorder. Anyway, one of them. We're not even going to get into the provider part of that. But anyway, you started off the movie with her looking and appearing as if she's totally fine. But then she catches her boyfriend in the house with somebody, and she drives her car into his trailer. And so after she does that, she ends up in the hospital. She ends up where she couldn't have children anymore. Remember, after that accident, she couldn't have children anymore. So now she can't get pregnant no more, right? Now her sisters are telling him that she has these episodes where she flips out, crashes out, is what the young people say now, when she gets very angry. All right. You go through the movie. She supports him throughout the whole movie. He's trying to come up. He's working, trying to come up to make a better life for them. She stays probably longer than she appreciated. It's probably longer than most of us probably would not have stayed that long. Some of us would have. I don't know. She stayed, right? So now you get to the part to where he makes it. And it's just of all the women in the world, it would be the same woman that she caught him with the first time. Just a coincidence that it would be the same woman that she caught him with before, who comes in and she saves the day and she helps him sell this battery he had been working on all this time, right? She's not happy the whole time. She's not happy even though she's with him, because she did in fact love the man, but he wasn't doing what he needed to do, so she left him, right? Okay. Now, he's rich. He goes and he gives her money for everything that was paid, everything that she had paid him, bought her house back, brought her flowers, did all of this, right? Told her thank you. He never said, I wanted to get back at you, none of that. He said thank you. And now all of a sudden, since he made it, now she wants him back. And she wants him back so bad that she's going to kill him and his new wife. She stalks him, remember? She kills both of them. Now she's full-blown crazy, toxic and crazy. This is what y'all like for him, have him to paint us as women who can't accept things. Because in every movie, we seem to not be able to accept things so much that we either lose our mind, kill somebody. He makes us look just simply freaking ridiculous. Crash outs, toxic in all of these movies. Let's move on to the next movie. The next movie would be Why Did I Get Married? You got Why Did I Get Married 1, right? You got now professional people. Angela's a little cuckoo, and so is her husband. But for the most part, you got people who are doing fairly well, right? Couldn't keep that good either. Something had to go wrong in that movie. There always got to be some drama and some toxicity in these movies. So what happened in the first Why Did I Get Married? Let's see. Angela tells her husband she's messing around. That's how he got gonorrhea. He had the clap, right? We found out that. And then we found out that Jill Scott's character, her husband ain't no good. He's there in the house with her best friend. He done brought her best friend to the house that they were vacationing at, right? Jill Scott hits her in the head with the bottle. She runs out. Here comes Troy. I think his name was Troy, right? Here comes Troy to save the day. There's always, let me tell y'all something. I've been divorced for a year. All right. Don't y'all get out here and believe, like they be telling y'all, that it's just gonna be all of these great, phenomenal men with all they ish together just flocking at your feet. Please don't believe that. But this is what he wants you to believe, that there's always the greatest guy, right? But here's what he also does, in case you haven't noticed. The greatest guy seems to never be one that's financially stable, right? He makes black men, look bad too, if you haven't noticed, but not the hardworking black men. He makes them look fairly good all the time. But, and I won't say hardworking, that's probably not the best word, but the black men in Tyler Perry movies who have done really, really well for themselves, who are making lots and lots of money, he always makes them look really bad and evil in the movie, as to make you think that if you're gonna get somebody, you better settle. I don't want y'all to take what I'm saying out of context, but don't go for the rich guy, because the rich guy or the one with money is always the one that's gonna be on some BS. He builds so much distrust overall in his movies. And if you might not pick on it, I pick up on it because that's what I'm a nurse. That's what I do. I freaking assess. And I assess every freaking movie. That's what he does. He is building up mistrust in men, and especially men who are very, very well to do. All right. So then in that movie, you got Jill Scott in that movie. The movie ends with everybody is now getting along, right? Except now they're at Pat has this award ceremony, and now they show up, and now all of a sudden Trina ain't as good, and she's the 20 or whatever they said in the movie. And now he's saying he wished would have given it another chance. Blah blah blah. Finds out she's married to Troy. She's lost weight. She looks good. Blah blah blah. It could have ended the movie there, right? But here we go with Why Did I Get Married To, right? The girl was happy. Her and Troy was happy, right? But no, you black women just don't listen. No, you black women always got to have more. I told you we shouldn't have moved here. You're the one that wanted to move here. And so now that we moved here because you wanted to move here, now I'm having a hard time finding a job. And it's all your fault because now we got a baby. And so now she feels bad because he can't find a job. So she goes out and she goes and asks her ex. Y'all see my beers? Yeah. She goes and asks her ex to hook him up with the job. Bam, everything blows up there, right? You couldn't just let them be happy. You couldn't just let them have a baby and move to Atlanta like they did and just be happy. No, you had to bring some drama into them too. And at the beginning of the movie, right? Tyler Perry, his character and his wife, she done went and got her tubes untied, and now they have another baby. He has a son that they always wanted. But you black chicks ain't never happy, right? So what you do, you go out and you have an emotional affair with somebody, right? This is the kind of stuff that he wants to let us black women know that we do to mess everything up. I don't care what you say. This is the kind of stuff that he is putting into our heads. And we say it. We sit there as women and we say it as we're watching. See, now come on now, you got everything. Here you go. Right? But he couldn't let them be happy. He had to bring in that little bit of drama and toxicity for box office tickets. And so we would keep watching it for years and years to come so we could still look back at him again and say, man, I can't believe she was that dumb. Even though, yeah, we do stuff like that. We do. But you know who else does it? Every other nationality does it too, right? But there are also so many women who don't do it, who are absolutely faithful, who are not just always out into something, right? All right, so you got that. You got Marcus and Hit. They always crazy on whatever. You got Pat and Gavin. They had lost the child in the first movie. Move over to the second movie, and let me see. Does Gavin die in the first movie or the second movie? Pretty sure Gavin died because there was only two, right? It was just Why Did I Get Married one, and Why Did I Get Married, and Why Did I Get Married two. Anyway, Gavin ends up dying in the movie. I believe that was two. Yeah, that was two. That was two. When she said they were going to get a divorce, because then at the end is when she met The Rock, right? And so that kind of was like a little cliffhanger, because it led us to believe when she met The Rock that they would be together, like in the next movie. I think that was two. Anyway, so that was that. That was why it was just those two movies were full of toxicity throughout the whole. But and everybody, how do you leave a retreat and everybody at that retreat leave mad? Everybody at that retreat, something came up different. One was cheating. One had her tubes tied behind his back. Pat and Gavin was mad because he blames her for the baby dying, and Marcus and they was cheating too. Like, it's just a bunch of mess. All right, so always some toxicity in the movies. Next movie, Good Deeds. So, did what you saw in Straw yesterday not strongly remind you of Good Deeds? Kristen, my baby, just texted me a minute ago and said the same thing. Did it not strongly remind you of I can't remember nobody's name today, but the actress in that movie had a daughter, right? And she was also struggling, and she could not take care of her daughter as well as she should be able to. And so she was taking her daughter to work with her. And taking her daughter to work with her, and the daughter being late for school, showing the school, not looking well put together, look hungry all the time. She ended up losing custody of her child. You know what happens? Here comes this man in to save the day, right? Because women don't ever get it together. Y'all don't never get y'all itch together on your own, right? There's always a man that's going to come in and save the day. Honey, if y'all have not saved your own day or not working on saving your own day because you're waiting for a man to in and save the day, I'm here to tell you, after 50 years of living, I feel sorry for you. Because few and far are the numbers of men who are able to come in and just are willing to just come in and save the day, right? So now you make it through this entire movie, Good Deeds, and he decides he does not want to be, he's rich, right? He doesn't want to work with his mama at the company anymore. He wants to go off to Africa, and I think dig mines or something like that in Africa. He buys her a ticket. Her and her baby. I love you. He left because he was with Gabrielle Union, remember? But he left Gabrielle Union because they really decided they shouldn't get married. They were just getting married for convenience. They weren't happy. She didn't want children. He thought he probably did. They didn't get married. And she saw the way he looked at her, right? So bam. Here she goes. At the end of the movie, she pops up on the airplane. She's going with him, her and her baby. They look beautiful, didn't they? They look so beautiful. Pretty, both of them had their pretty curls. Here they go, jumping on the plane with Tyler Perry or whatever his character was, Mr. Deeds, in that movie, and swooped in, took him away. Otherwise, if he didn't come in and take her away, she would have never got back on her feet, which is what the movie leads you to believe. She would have never been able to get back on her feet. Her and actress, that's it, Thandie Newton, she would have never been able to get back on her feet, and she would have never been able to keep her child, and her child would have been in the system had this man not came in and saved the day. Rich man came in and saved the day. Because if there's a rich man in the movie, though, that's doing good by women, it's him. It's only him. Not other characters in the movies that are rich. Only him. You go back and watch it if you think I'm not telling the truth. He makes all other rich black men look like dirt, dogs, scum. Daddy's Little Girl, that was more so about a man being a single dad, right? And you have Gabrielle Union, who was in that movie. That movie actually ended with some hope. That movie ended with him getting out of jail. He saved the neighborhood. He just took over the car business. He had, man set him up. Lou Gossett set him up on a payment plan, and now he got his own business. He did that all. He did that. She helped him get out of jail and help him get custody of his children. But all that other stuff, he did by himself, right? All that other stuff. But every man that she looked to date in that movie, other than him, all the lawyers she dated, all of them, trash, cheaters, no good people. She dated all those people in the movie. None of them were no good, right? And so she had to humble herself, right? She had to humble herself and accept him for who he was. You got that? If y'all haven't picked up on anything else out of his movies, you got to pick up on the fact that he wants us to humble ourselves. Right? And as a man, he's saying that. I'm okay with it, honestly. If that's what you want, that is fine. That is fine. I ain't never been married to no rich man. I get that. But they ain't off the table. I don't think that all of them are horrible like he portrays them to be in this movie. But if I listen to what he showed me in the movies, I would immediately look at black men who have worked very, very hard, went to school, are very educated. Even if they didn't go to school, they have business. They're business owners. They're very educated. They make a lot of money. If I looked at his movies, I would never trust one of them. Never want to marry any of them based on the way he portrays them in his movies. All right, next one. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. First of all, if y'all have not figured out yet that all of his movies are based on other movies, I don't know what to tell you. You will pick up on, so he loves some soul food, because there are so many soul food references in all of his movies. All of them. I think I said that in the beginning. Anyway, so we got Diary of a Mad Black Woman, which just kind of, I don't know why, but it just kind of reminds me of John leaving Bernadine. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of John leaving Bernadine and Waiting to Exhale. Right? All right, so let's go to that movie. You have this young lady who was with this man from the time he started school, right? And she stuck with him until he built this illustrious attorney career. And then he would never let her have any children. And then she said, I believe that he stressed her out so much she couldn't get pregnant. Meanwhile, he had 2 children with somebody else, right? He was a lawyer. He was rich. So according to him in this movie, he was going to be evil. All right. So he drags her out the house. Here comes, Shakita, give me that name if you're still there. Here comes this good-looking guy who works at a factory and does moving on the side. He had hired him to move her, right? And even though she's saying, I need to take some time for myself, I need to heal. So he's putting that in there. He's letting you know in the movies that you should absolutely take some time to heal and take some time for self-care. But he never really lets it happen. Never. He never lets it happen in the movies. No one in the movie yet who has said that has stuck to it. So what is he trying to tell us there? Because none of them do. None of them stick to it. They say it, but they don't, right? So now she's with this man who asks her to marry him. And after he asks her to marry him, she never gets a chance to say yes because, boom, even though she potentially has some happiness right now, bam, here comes more drama and toxicity because now your husband, you signed the papers, but they're not final yet, so he's still your husband. So now he's in the hospital because he's shot, right? And you such a good-hearted person and a Christian, you go back to take care of him, right? Even though you don't treat him all the best while you are taking care of him, you go back and you take care of him, right? And so now after you're taking care of him and he gets a little bit better, you decide he's not where you want to be. So now you give him his ring and you run back to Orlando. That was his name. He's at work at the factory, of course, because those are the good men. The good men are only the ones that work very, very hard, more hard and long hours. The ones you will rarely get to see, unfortunately, because they at work all the time, right? The ones who typically need somebody to work too. Typically, you need a 2-salary household these days because time's hard, right? Yes. All right. So now that break that she needed, the self-care didn't matter, even though he throws it in there, but there was no self-care because she ran over there to say, ask me again. Ask me again. I love you. Ask me again. Y'all remember? Will you marry me? Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Right? Because we cannot survive. Tell him, Tyler Perry. We can't make it. We can't survive without a man. We just can't. If we don't have a man, we just fall apart and we lose our minds and we go absolutely crazy. That's what happens. You might believe that, but I don't. All right. Medea's family reunion. They even brought Maya Angelou and Cicely Tyson in on that one. And you have this beautiful girl, beautiful woman who's engaged to be married to Blair Underwood, was who played the role of that rich man, right? Yeah, come on now. Blair Underwood plays the role, right? He's this rich banker. He's in finance and he's rich. And he's in cahoots with her mama, spending up all of her trust fund, right? He's physically abusing her behind closed doors. Mama tells her, you got to marry him anyway. You got to marry him anyway, right? And then you have her sister who falls in love with, sister's very untrusting because of the childhood that she had. So that made her very untrusting. And I get that. Her mom had given her to people. We know that happens. Her mom had given her to her husbands and boyfriends and stuff when she was younger. So her and her mom had a tumultuous relationship. They hated each other, right? So at the end of the movie, she ends up getting married instead of the sister. The sister finally throws some hot grits on Blair Underwood. So that was kind of a happy ending to see her sister finally find some love and to see this girl get away from her. So that movie, I just wanted you to see. And they all, like, again, they all have a great message and they all are very realistic in some people's households. We know that. But I wanted you to see there how he portrays black men with money, even though he is one now, right? All right, and the toxicity. Where we at? All right, so next one, I need to hurry up. Medea's Big Happy Family. I'm trying to remember what went on in Medea's Big Happy Family. That also reminded me a lot of Soul Food. Why? Because you have the mama, and the mama is sick, and they have all these family secrets in that movie. And it caused a lot of turmoil, caused the one daughter who was very mean. She was very mean because she had been through some abuse, right? So you had the one daughter who had been through childhood SA. You had the son who was her child who had been to prison, and he had a baby mama, and the baby mama was crazy, and then he had a new girlfriend, and that new girlfriend was trying to get him to go back in the streets, but he wanted to, walk straight and just take care of his son, but she wanted more money. And then you had the other sister who her and her husband owns a mechanic shop, but she was real bossy, right? And always told him what to do, and the kids was running all over him. God, Jesus. How do you feel as a mama? Like, how do you feel as a mama when, God, really? And she was a praying mama, right? But I personally, even though at the end, they kind of, Medea talked to him and they supposedly came together and, talked it out and worked it out. But the mama didn't get to see them do it. I didn't get a lot of hope from that movie. From that movie, the message to me was get it together, right? And I know there are some families though where everybody in the household, like all the kids, got something wrong with them. All of them. Some, like, all of y'all jacked up. All of y'all. And we had to go through the whole movie just watching these families just fight and fuss and argue throughout the whole movie. So I really don't have that much to say about that one, other than it was a lot of, like they even Bow Wow. Like once he got out of trouble, the girl, you got this Tiana Taylor who ended up causing him to go back to jail. So even when he was trying to do right, he just couldn't get ahead. It just don't seem to be a lot of getting ahead in these movies. The Family That Prays. Family That Prays. In that movie, you got was it Viola Davis? No, not Viola Davis wasn't in that movie. I forget the other lady's name. When they played in Holiday Heart. I can't think of her name, but she was in it, and then the lady from Misery were in it. Sanaa Lathan was in it, and Taraji was in that movie, and Tyler Perry was in that movie. They sure were. So anyway, you got Sanaa Lathan, who is married to Chris, and Chris is, in the movie, he's seemingly slow, but he wants to start his own business. He wants her to go to the boss and ask the boss to help fund his business, not knowing that she's sleeping with the boss, right? Not only is she sleeping with the boss, but she got a baby with the boss, right? So here you got a woman who has a husband that loves her, who wants to do better for her, probably just needs a little help, a little bit more support, right? But she starts working for this rich white man who already has what it looks like to be all together, and he's got a lot of money. He's giving her all this extra money, and he stacked her, caked her up, as they say, bank account looking good. She's driving these nice cars. She likes that, right? And so in her mind, like most people who are cheating think, he's going to leave his wife eventually and come and be with her, right? So she gets so bold and so brave. She runs up in the restaurant one day. She gets into it with her sister when she asks her where all this money come from, and she throws shade at the husband, and then her husband blurts out that she's sleeping with the boss. Chris hears it. She says something grimy, tells him, "Yes, my son will never be like you. My son is a Cartwright." At which point he knocked her over, didn't he? I'm trying to stop cussing, y'all. He hit her, didn't he? I mean, he hit her hard. Flung her clean across the counter. Y'all remember that? So, how does this movie end? The movie ends with her, of course, losing, right? He ends up, now he has his own business, and the sister's husband, they all have the business, and she's living in what looks like she's living in a hotel or something, or a little small apartment, and he's coming to see her son. Looks like he's bringing her a couple dollars for his son, and he don't have to, because it's not really his son, but he stepped in and he's taking care of the son anyway, because he's raised the son, right? She goes to touch him, and he's like brushes her off, like, "Not today, Satan," right? So, where was the happy ending in that movie? The only happy ending, if that what you is, that the mama finally decided to take a break and go take a trip by herself after Charlotte died. She went and she took herself drive across. Where was the happy? What was happy about the ending? Where was the hope? In that movie, and that movie should have had. It was such a great movie. So the hope was given to Charlotte, or whatever her mom's name in the movie, right? She had a little bit of hope because she finally said, "You know what? Forget these kids. These kids are driving me crazy. I'm gonna shut this restaurant down, take this money I got." Because remember, she was a stock owner, right? "And I'm out of here." And she left. That was the only hope in that movie. Otherwise, I saw no hope in that movie either. All right. I Can Do Bad All By Myself. Taraji P. Henson, again, in this movie, struggling. She's living in a house that her mama left her. Her daddy left her. Her daddy left her house. The house is falling apart. She doesn't have the money to be able to maintain the house. She's working at a club singing all night. She sleeps all day. And her boyfriend is a police that's married, and she finds out he got a baby on the way. Now, in her mind, she don't want to be married. She likes it because he's married and there's no commitment. He comes, he helps pay part of the bills, he goes home. She didn't think she wanted love until Sandino's cute self walks up in there, right? And he shaved and everything, he was looking a little cute, and he was good to her. And he was there when her mama died, right? And so here she jumped away from Rodney. Was it Rodney in that movie too? No, Rodney was from, I think that was Baby Boy. Rodney was a Baby Boy. Anyway, she finds out that the police boyfriend tried to assault her niece. So she throws the radio in the tub, tries to kill him. That could have went bad for her, because he's doing all these things, even when people do things like these, how do they say them? When somebody commits a violent crime, that's like in the midst of finding out somebody's cheating. There's a name for that, but I can't think of it right now. But most of the time, you might just not do as much time. But I want you to, when you plead not guilty by reason of insanity, that does not mean you don't go to jail. They got a whole separate prison for people like that. Taylor Hardin in Alabama is the NGRI facility. That is where they send you when you are not guilty by reason of insanity. So please do not think that when people get charged with these crimes, they just get to walk free. They don't just all get to walk free. So that's not a happy ending to get that kind of sentence, right? Anyway, so that could have went bad. Anyway, thank God he jumped out like that. Remember, That's what he was doing. He was shaking like that. He jumps out the tub, right? Now, at the end of the movie, she finally decides she wants to heal and to make her life better. Bam, she marries Sandino. So here we go again with her coming up, her doing better, her being able to survive because Sandino swooped in there, saved the day, saved her life. Are there any women that are already out there surviving from the beginning is what I want to know, Tyler Perry. Do they all have to be struggling from the very beginning? Can meeting somebody not just be a way to compliment us and help make life easier? Do we always have to be struggling so hard or ends up in abusive relationships? That's it. That's it. And I don't know why we enjoy what it's like being, if you're going through these things and you watch that movie, I don't see how that's okay with you. I don't, it'd be like reading a sad book. It'd be like me reading a book about somebody dying while my mom was laying in the hospital dying. It would be like the anniversary of my mom's death. I pick up a book or watch a movie about somebody. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch nobody else's grief while I'm in the midst of my grief. I want something that's going to pick me up, lift me up, give me some hope. So I don't know, like history has already shown us, we already been taught. It's like I even had to think honestly, if I'm being honest, I had to check myself. I had to check myself for a minute today because I had to think about it. Because we're about to approach Juneteenth. I just spoke about Juneteenth, but that was one of the things I said. Yes, our ancestors, they were slaves, right? Yes, our ancestors worked very hard once they were not slaves. A lot of them still today, the older people and some younger people are still working as if they are slaves because they don't really understand that we don't really got to do that no more, right? Like we don't have to prove. I'll be out here trying to prove ourselves and killing ourselves working trying to prove ourselves anymore. And I don't feel like we should be out here trying to just prove ourselves to men in these relationships. And if we did, those movies make it look very hard because they make us all look crazy. They make us all look crazy. Coming from a black, y'all know how I feel about black men telling our stories. I just don't like it. But anyway, a fall from grace. No, a fall from grace. How many of y'all gave Grace some grace? Right? We looked at Grace and she was 40-something years old, and she has this younger, handsome, tall, dark, handsome man come in who she marries right off the bat. I think they was dating for like weeks. She married him. She's all in love with him because he was so good to her. She had just come out of, she had already been married before with the husband who left her for his secretary. Remember? He left her for the secretary. She's been by herself for a while. She got a little lonely. This one swoops in and she marries this young girl. She got her own house, beautiful home. She has a stacked checking account. And she goes and marries this guy she ain't known for no time at all without a prenup. How much grace did y'all give Grace? He makes us as women sit there and look at these movies now. Come on. Why would she do something? Man, she's so soul. Man, she a duck. That's what my kids call him, a duck. Like he makes us look at other women and say these things, right? As if we don't know some people out here who may potentially do the same thing. I get that. But at the same time, this is all he does is what I'm saying. He doesn't show us anything else except this. So when you look at the trend of what he's doing is what I want you to see. It's not that he makes the movie here and he making like he dropping these movies like ice. What's that? Dropping them like down, dropping them like something. He's just dropping these movies, all with the same things, and we on it getting them, and we just boohoo crying. Divorce in Black, another great thing. It actually came out around the time when I was going through a divorce, which is why I say, if they come out, what you going through definitely makes a difference. Because when I watched it during that time, I was just, you know what I'm saying? But when I sat back and I looked at it afterwards, like, you put so much trauma in this movie, right? He put a lot of my life in the movie. And he made her say the same thing in the movie. Now, I'm just telling you, Benji. Here comes Benji, right? Here comes Benji, who she dated when she was like 17 years old. She's been married for, I think, 17 years. But here he comes. He just so happens that he's divorced now when you're going through a divorce. And he's just been thinking about you the whole time. Sounds good, don't it? He's just been thinking about you the whole time. And now that you're divorced, I can't believe it. I'm not going nowhere. Like, I'm going to wait for you because I always wanted this day to happen. And she was like, I need you to know, I really want to take this time for self-care and to get myself together. I really do. Well, who do you see there? Benji. Even though she said it. Who do you see there? Benji. Who do you see there at the end? Who does she walk out at the end of the movie with? Benji. Here they go to save the day. And that movie was such a, like, it was so far. I have never in my life, whoever wrote that part when that lady said, take that man's body out the casket, because you know that's the kind of stuff we say though, right? Like, I'm not gonna let you think I owe you nothing. That's what we say. And you took that I'm not finna owe you nothing so far as to say, I'm gonna take these clothes off right here in the funeral. And I'm gonna take my boy, my dead boy, out the casket and take him with me and bury him in the backyard before I let you think I owe you anything. It ain't even legal. It's not even legal. Unless it's legal there. You can't just do what you want to do with a corpse. What else I got? I didn't know it was this many movies. I'm telling you, he got some movies. He got some hits. Addiction. I can't even remember what Addiction was about. Fall from Grace. Mea Culpa. Again, reminded me a lot of 50 Shades of Grey. That's all I got to say. All I got to say about that, because I would have had to go back and watch it again. Madea Goes to Jail. I think I talked about that one already. Oh, did I talk about Madea Goes to Jail? That was the one where Rudy, Keisha Knight Pulliam was in that movie. She was a prostitute in that movie. And she just so happened to she was arrested just by coincidence. She was arrested by the girlfriend of the boy that she was best friends with when she was younger, who supposedly she felt like he had sat by or set her up to be raped, right? So she was upset with him about that, but then, of course, they fell in love too. The fiance ended up being grimy and she was like plumping, how do you say, and plumping, whatever you do, cases to make them look like they had committed more crimes. She was doing that. So then they get to the altar and he didn't marry her. And all of a sudden, the girl gets out of jail because here comes that guy to save the day. He wasn't for her. she would have been in jail. And if she wasn't in jail, she would still be a prostitute had she not run back into her childhood friend who just happened to still be in love with her after all these years. I'm tired. If y'all have not seen the repetitive themes, they all are the same dang themes in these movies. He's going to make black women look bad, look toxic, look like they're struggling. He's going to make black men who have money look toxic, look violent, look like they're abusers. So the hardworking, and I hate saying hardworking, the blue collar, let's say blue collar. So the blue collar black man, the factory blue collar black. I wish I knew who it was in his life, that, because it's got to be some. If y'all are saying his mom is the reason why he paints this picture of struggling women, then who is the man? Who is that rich black man that he feels like is so grimy? And who is that middle class or working class man that he feels like is so great that that's who he, like, all of his movies would have that same theme? Because there are a mixture and a plethora of all of those things in every class is what I like. My biggest point I want to make. Working class man gonna have some abusers and some who are not abusers. Higher class men, same thing. You're going to have some who cheat in the lower classes, and you're going to have some who cheat in the higher classes. I just don't think that when it comes to that, I don't think it's class related. I don't. It just makes, in my opinion, and I'm going to go ahead and log off. In my opinion, as I said earlier, I was not thrilled about, I already told you how I feel about it. I can't even watch Sisters no more. Like, I've tried to watch this season of Sisters, this last season of Sisters. I can't even, it's like I got with Housewives. Like, I used to love, my kids knew if Housewives was on, do not come in here, don't say nothing, don't breathe, don't hit the pans or on the counter, don't make no noise, because I'm listening to Nene right now. But, like, it just got to be so, like, it's just drama. It's just drama all the time. It's just toxic all the time. Just going at each other, fighting, arguing, setting people up, throwing shade, tea, all the time. All the time. So it didn't keep my attention anymore. So if you don't keep my attention, then I ain't going to watch it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to watch his movies no more. I know. I never said that. And I never said that I didn't think some of these were great movies. I said the themes of them suck and they have no hope. Now, this last one, I'm sorry, I just can't say this last one was just all great. It wasn't. I can't sit here and say I just think nobody deserve an Oscar. If anybody deserve an Oscar in that movie, for me, it's going to be Sherry Shepherd. And that's only because that ain't what she do. It's not what she does. It's not what she does. She don't play roles like that. So for that part, and it wasn't all that great, still. I mean, the movie just looked like it. And I don't know if it was the setting. It was just too much. It was just too much. Like the police that pulled up. I'm gonna make sure I figure out a way to legally kill you. And so because he told her that is why she was so scared to come out of the bank, because she couldn't let him kill her. I can't go out there. I can't go out there and let her kill me. Her being nice, bringing them chairs to sit down. It's the same thing they did in John Q. Same exact thing they did in John Q. Give us something new. Give us something new. But it don't matter. Y'all, me, we gonna watch it anyway. I'm saying we gonna watch it anyway. Because I'm gonna be watching it just to see if he finally gave us something new, if he finally changed something different. And that's fine. But what I'm not gonna do is get on here just because everybody else is saying it's so good, it's so great. It's feel like I gotta say it's so good, it's so great too, because he's a black writer, author, producer, director. No, I ain't like the movie. It wasn't that great to me. And that's okay. Everybody don't gotta like it. And I'm not dumb. I'm not slow. I'm not stupid. I don't lack compassion because I didn't like the movie. I just didn't like it. Isn't that great? These are my opinions. That's it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take me some ibuprofen. And I hope that y'all have Madea's Halloween. That was a dumb movie. Now I rocks with Madea's witness protection. You ain't have I don't remember no message in here. It was funny. I like that. He didn't make the white people look bad in that movie though, either, did he? He just made them look like they didn't know how to control their children. That was about it. About as far as they took it. About as far as he took it with her. With the white lady in that movie. That was it. Yeah. That's all he got to say about white women. Is that their kids, they feel like their kids are run over them sometimes. That's it. He got a lot to say about us, and it just don't seem like he's trying to say it to help us. It don't seem like he's trying to say it to help us, to me. Where's the hope? Send back the hope. Add a little bit get 5 minutes of hope at the movie, or at least come back with a sequel. A sequel of some hope from the first movie. Because I don't think he's ever had a sequel besides Why Did I Get Married? I would love to see part 3. Are y'all sure it wasn't a part 3? It wasn't no Why Did I Get Married Again? I'm tripping. So many movies. So many movies and so many plays. And all the movies, that's another thing we give them a lot of credit. We give them a lot of credit for making these movies like the movies wasn't already a play first. All he did was when Rick wrote the plays. For most of them, they have a play. It was a play before it became a movie. I like the plays better than the movies. I ain't hating on Tyler. Tyler did his thing. Tyler got a lot of money off of making us look crazy. But I'll digress. Make that money, Tyler. Make them cry. Make them cry. You gotta do a lot for me to cry. And now when I found out that baby died, I got a little sad. But y'all talking about y'all was crying the whole movie? I don't even get how y'all was crying the whole movie. I don't get it. Because we've seen it before. We've seen it before in better movies. John Q. John Q. I cried the whole movie. I ain't gonna lie. I cried the entire John Q movie. It was just more believable to me. It was more believable. Just the whole script, everything in that movie, I'm sorry. It wasn't that believable for me. But I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. I'm glad a lot of people, not everybody. Some people agree with me, some people don't. And that's okay. We all have difference of opinion. So what's missing for me? Just some hope. Keep making your movies, Tyler Perry, because you are giving us some entertainment. Just give us a little bit more hope is all I ask for. That's it. I ain't come here to rag on you or nothing like that. I'm just saying. Throw some hope. Once you show, what we're doing wrong and how we're struggling, show us how to get out. Because you hanging around a lot of people with money right now. What they doing? Show us the way. Show my girls the way. Show all my good sis the way. So she can make it out too. That's what I want to see. Some hope. Not just you making it look like the only hope we have is finding a man. Because that's what your movies show us. Finding a man, going to jail, or going crazy. It's one of the three. Thank you. I love y'all. God bless y'all, and good night.